At 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I believe it's recording. So again, Nathaniel Sullivan, drawing and talking here with Patrick Vaughn, drawing and talking, diversity in comics. Still, yeah. So I was going to say, so something with diversity in comics. Again, I guess the main thing I see is that comic books should be worried that it's not pulling this off successfully yet. I mean, I think it's a sign that as a medium or as an entertainment source, it's not doing so well. I mean, you have successful television shows. Empire comes to mind. Sleepy Hollow, or you have successful Scandal. You have successful television Blackish. You have successful television shows with diverse cast. You have films like Fast and Furious, which I haven't seen, but they're post-racial, right? They're very post-racial. There are Black people and Asian people and Latino people and white people in these films, and it's not really an issue. It's not really something that comes up at all. So I guess if comics wise, I think my main concern would be the fact that we can't put out comic books with diverse casts and have these really work. That's bad, right? We need a larger audience. We need to bring more people in. And I think one really good sign, I hope it's a good sign, is Scalped. I thought Scalped, which was a Vertigo title, almost entirely a Native American character. It's a story about Native Americans and a reservation. Pretty good story and very very much good in terms of diversity of comics. But I thought it was a good series, and I hope that gets some attention. Just quickly, I guess I would say on the Batgirl thing, I don't know. For me, just as a personal thing, I do not want to go back to the Alan Moore days of those grim comics. I think the things were just a bummer. I'm not sure what was wrong with us in the '80s. I'm not sure why we were so depressed. But so sorry.
Probably because of Reagan.
I can't blame him for everything, or much of anything. I don't. I mean, I don't know the cover, the Batgirl cover that was so controversial. To me, the timing just seemed bad. It just seemed like that was really from a bygone time and didn't really work now. But we can go on to gaming unless you want to add anything else.
I'll just say that. We have to understand that, what sells. Obviously, the adolescent male power fantasy type comic will always sell. And if DC or Marvel chooses to take a gamble on a brand new IP with a brand new character that isn't a, non-white, blonde, hulking lead, that more power to them so long as it makes a profit. And again, money is what decides all. And for DC and Marvel's sake, they know what makes them money. Marvel, for their sake, obviously, Captain America, Wolverine, always bring in the money. For DC, you can always bet on Batman. With smaller indie publications like Image and Dynamite, and that whole slot, you have more room to breathe. And for the content creators themselves, the profit is good enough for everyone to stay solvent. So I guess at the end of the day, like what you like, and if you feel that more change needs to be added to it, voice your concerns, speak out in a respectful and adult manner. The end.
Let me ask you. That does raise one more question. It's something I've kind of wondered about. Like why do why do people stick with the same characters throughout their lives? I mean, why do you don't do that with other things, right? You read other books, you see other movies. You don't just keep watching Harry Potter movies for your whole life, right? Why do you Why do you read Captain America your whole life? Why do you read Thor your whole life? Why do you read Justice League your whole life? Why? I've always wondered about that.
I mean, it could be because each character's arc, issues span in the hundreds, if not the thousands already.
Yeah.
It takes the jumping on point.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. You can't just start with Thor or Spider-Man #1.
Yeah.
Make it all the way to you find a good jumping on point through recommendations or what have you, and just go from there. With kids who are now my age or your age or whatnot, who have stuck with a particular comic book run forever, it was probably something that was transformative in their life as a child. It might have got them through some dark times. It might have been part of the good times, and they just really, really become a devout fan of that particular universe and the characters and how they interact. So it could be a slew of reasons.
Yeah.
But in any case, it does pay to kind of step outside the box and see what other things are going on. However, in the year 2015, there is just way, way too much content to consume.
Yeah.
So the world's your oyster at this point. Just stick with the one, I guess. So I guess I kind of just went back on my own advice. Oh well.
I'm fascinated by the comic books. It's a weird part of it that you're absolutely right. Like the jumping on points I've thought that was really horrible. Like how it's so hard to get into comic books. It's a real challenge for it. It's a real challenge because that's basically what you do is you basically feed your fans. You basically feed them this whole universe they've grown accustomed to and that they know inside and out probably, and then bringing new people in. You're absolutely right. I mean, these things can be terribly inaccessible.
I think that's why it's always a good point to approach. If someone approaches you and says, "Hey, I want to start reading comics. I don't know where to begin. I need your help. Can you give me some advice?" Your first question to them should be, okay, well, what would you like to read? What interests you? Do you want to read some, are you more detective? You want to do something more lighthearted, something dark? And you get a feel from that, and then kind of guide them towards self-contained stories like The Boys, or Preacher, or, a slew of other books. It doesn't even have to be something like that. I mean, it could be like Persepolis or Habibi, Why the Last Man. The list can go on and on.
I think something like Why the Last Man is probably really good. I mean, that's really self-contained, and also that's not. I mean, one of the things I really liked about that was it was not really referential. It was not really a comment on other comic books. It was not really commenting on the medium. I think it's a real. I mean, it's a good series. I mean, it's a very. It stands alone, and then that's really worth a lot.
Yeah, I wear Why the Last Man series on my shoulder.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to have it show.
Yeah, maybe 100 bullets. Although it's an awfully big commitment.
It's an awfully big commitment, and good Lord, reading that slang verbatim. It can be a challenge. It's a good story, but if you compare it to the slang.
You need breaks. Yeah, you definitely need breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So you want to do games?
Let's do it.
All right. Pause. I'll stop this, and then I will.